Hello, and welcome back to Diecast Graveyard. My name is Paul. So the other day, I'm checking out my social media, my Instagram and my Facebook and stuff like that, and I came across this message in a video. So I went ahead and played it, and I want to share that with you.
Hey, this is Luke from Chaotic Customs. I'm calling you out, Paul, from Diecast Graveyard. You do pretty fine work, but you're not ready for me.
So I says, the kid's got a lot of balls. He's only 9 years old. So I says, why not? And then I says, if you happen to have a son or daughter who likes to do these customs, go ahead and get them involved with this build. It's going to be a lot of fun. The subject is run what you brung. The only stipulation is that you have to use the Hot Wheels Mini Cooper. All right? But you can make anything out of it. You can make a gasser, you can make a lowrider, you can make a post-apocalyptic, whatever you wish. It doesn't matter. Now this is also open up to all the other builders such as Somo Diecast and Kuda's Diecast Customs and Diecast Pirate and Shorter's Diecast and everybody else that's got Diecast in their name, and even if you don't. But this is going to be a lot of fun. So here's what we're starting with, this Hot Wheels Mini Cooper. It's a pretty basic car, and we got a lot of things we need to do to it. So without further delay, let's go ahead and get started. Grab yourself your favorite adult beverage and join along in today's build. This is going to be a lot of fun. This is one of the few cars that you actually don't have to drill it apart to get it apart. It's just got a clip that you push down on and you can open it yourself. Now, for the life of me, I don't know why, but I guess Hot Wheels thought that was a good idea. So here we got the body, we've got the base. We'll have to save the grill. But what I'm thinking of doing is combining it with this car here, this Way Too Fast. And what I want to do is cut off the hood from the car, save the back end of the car, and then maybe attach the hood again to the front. Now this is going to take a lot of cutting, a lot of filing and snipping, but I think that this is going to be pretty darn awesome. We'll strip the paint. Now I thought about making the car thinner, and here's what I'm demonstrating with this marker. Here I'm looking for the center line. I had thought about, like I said, making the car thinner, but I decided against it later on. I thought it was going to be too wide, but actually it isn't. But let's go ahead and continue with today's build. Okay, here we're going to put the car in the embalming fluid. Make sure you get a really good coat on there. Coat everything you're going to want stripped off. Brush off the excess, and then let it set for a while. Here I'm knocking away the excess citrus strip. Got a couple projects going on at the same time. Let's let that set and continue.
Meanwhile, back in the graveyard.
Okay, here we got some cutting and snipping to do. I went ahead and I cut off the front end of the car, and then I cut the pillar in the middle. I cut that apart because I wanted it to fit around the back engine. I've still got some cutting and snipping to do on the inside of the car, the interior, but then I'm going to fit the hood of the car over the front, so I'm going to have to cut off that radiator also. This is one of the great things about doing these customs, because you're not limited to anything except your imagination. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and click on that little bell to be alerted to any future videos that come out. Now we're going to go ahead and do a wheel swap also. I've got these gasser wheels, and they're approximately the same size. I just got this affection for real rider tires, so that's what I'm going to use. Now I'm also going to have to file down the back end a little bit in order to get these wheels to fit, because I don't want to cut apart the axle. So we'll do a little bit of grinding, a little bit of filing, and we'll get those to fit, and then we'll glue those in place. I also cut a notch around the top of the windshield, and I filed out the back end in order to get it to fit over the base a little bit better. But I also cut some notches in the doors so the exhaust pipes would fit out the bottom, and I think that looks pretty cool. Later on, I decided to file out the fender wells a little bit to get those wheels to fit and roll freely. Here's just the rough fit. Now the body does slide forward.
Waiting for the paint to dry.
I went ahead and painted the car up with these fluorescent colors from Chroma Air. These paints are available at spraygunner.com, and they're the in-house brand. They work fantastic and they're airbrush ready. Here's all the pieces and parts. We're going to put them all together and have our reveal. And this is what we started with, this Hot Wheels Mini Cooper. Again, this is one of the few cars that you can take apart without having to drill it out. Now, all the other folks that are competing in this build, there are two classes. There's 15 years old and below and 16 years old and above. First place for 15 years old and below with a vote on the recap video is $100. On the 16 and above, there'll be a wonderful prize given that I still haven't chose yet, but it's going to be fantastic for the one who gets the most votes. Now, I do encourage you to send your cars to Luke after the build. I think this is going to be great. I know that I'm sending my car to Luke after the build. But you got to hand it to the kid. He had a lot of guts when it came to issuing the challenge, and it was fun to do. Let's look at the result. I combined the Mini Cooper with a Way Too Fast, and this is how the car turned out. This was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed this build, and I think it turned out fantastic. This was a great build. It rolls really good, and the colors go well with it. We put a nice clear coat over the top of it, and this is going to be a fantastic addition to Luke's collection. Now again, we're going to be having the judging as I do the recap video for everybody who entered this video, and the two classes are going to get a great prize. So make sure that you send me your glamour shot, and send that glamour shot to diecastgraveyard@gmail.com. Now also, please make sure you mention whether you are in the adult section or you're in the kids section, and that would be 15 and below. And then we'll do a recap video, and the public will judge who's going to win the prize. Check out the folks at spraygunner.com. They've got a complete line of airbrushes for all your airbrush needs. They've got a really cool line of compressors to include their wonderful no-name compressors. They've got airbrush paints from Createx, which is an incredibly great brand. They've got their in-house brand called Chroma Air. I love these paints. Airbrush kits from Grex and No Name and many other manufacturers. Spend less, get more at spraygunner.com. Here's a few more glamour shots of the car that Luke will be getting from me. I thought it was a lot of fun. Thank you for joining me today on Diecast Graveyard. Again, this build was a lot of fun, and I hope you had a lot of fun with it. I know Luke will. And I've got a lot more videos coming out, so please make sure you subscribe and hit that like button and click that little bell to be alerted to any future videos to come out. My name is Paul with Diecast Graveyard. Thank you, and cheers.